everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk. I'm John and this is Matt, and today we're here to talk about one of my personal favorite films of all time, and that is 1982's Poltergeist. Directed by Tobe Hooper, but written by Steven Spielberg, produced by Steven Spielberg. Before we do anything else, if you are a fan of 4K Blu Ray reviews, movie reviews, tech reviews, game reviews, we try and do them all here on the channel. Nothing helps out more than by subscribing to the channel and liking this video. Steven Spielberg has always been rumored to have directed Poltergeist.
Right. And, I mean, you definitely feel that in there because, I just watched a bunch of Texas Chainsaws. You watched Funhouse. I don't see Tobe Hooper in this, do you?
No, it's so strange. And that's one thing, I can see where Tobe Hooper directed Funhouse and Texas Chainsaw, and you just watched Life Force 2 this year, which is also him.
Right. And
it's just strange because this feels so much almost like a cousin to E.T., which came out in the exact same month of 1982.
Yeah, and the one, I mean, this doesn't really it does have something to do with this. Like, the thing about E.T., I always loved that neighborhood. I love the hilly neighborhood with the something about it. And this, you get a view of that too. Like, the houses are close together and these, like...
The house looks just like the one next to it. And the one next to that. And the one next to that.
Big new developments and just the California suburbia life with just those crazy hills, and it just always looks so cool. Like the bike scene in E.T. was always one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, when they're biking through the hills. Yeah, and they got some good exterior shots. I love that beautiful shot late in the film where you see half of the shot is the cemetery and the other half is the grass, and you got the sky just shining through. That is beautiful. And this movie really is like a nostalgia trip to the 80s.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, you're seeing, Steven Spielberg, like we said, produced this, but, he's buddies with George Lucas, and you just see so much Star Wars toys in the background, Darth Vader poster, Alien poster.
Yeah.
So, just so much good stuff in there. And this is very much, if anyone doesn't know the story of Poltergeist, this is basically just almost a haunted house movie. It's one family. They live in just living a normal life.
There's a difference between haunting and a poltergeist.
That's true. So this is a poltergeist which attaches itself to one person. And it's attached itself to Carol Ann, who's the youngest daughter of this family. With, the parents. One of the parents is Craig T. Nelson.
Craig T. Nelson!
Who is a great actor you might know from Coach or the dad in The Incredibles. So basically it attaches itself to this girl, and she gets sucked in. Well, the TV kind of grabs her, and then she gets sucked into her closet when a giant tree breaks into the house and tries to kidnap her brother Robbie. And basically it just sets us on this adventure where they're trying to get her out, save her, and, eliminate this poltergeist from their house.
Right.
And this is one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
When you say horror movie, and I just learned that this is rated PG.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I never really thought of it, but I would say PG-13 at least.
Yeah, but
now you said that's what...
Yeah, like I told Matt, so PG-13 in 1982 didn't exist. There was, movies like this, and the big one was Temple of Doom. Those are rated PG. And, in Temple of Doom, they ripped someone's heart out.
Yes,
so, that was a PG film. But, eventually the ratings board decided, the MPAA decided, okay, let's kind of find a stopgap between PG and R, because that's a real gray line there. And,
yeah, it's a big margin.
And I think this would have definitely been a PG-13 film had that been around.
I guess they can't re-rate things, I guess. I don't know,
yeah, but yeah, they're smoking weed in this movie. There's some nude scenes, and some of the horror stuff is gets under your skin. It's pretty scary at points. I mean,
right, yeah.
It doesn't scare me now like it did when I was 7, but I was still, I could be a 7-year-old. I was petrified of this movie.
Oh yeah, I was terrified of it also, especially seeing this.
Yeah,
you shut off your Sega and the TV looks like that.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're taking over your house and your body, and you get sucked into your freaking closet. So
right, yeah. So I mean,
it's still a great film. It still holds up really well nowadays. It's still one of my top 3 horror films of all time. For a while, this was number 1. Now my number 1's Candyman. This is number 2. But you said you weren't a huge fan of this movie until recently.
Again, it's I didn't watch this as a kid. I've seen it, but I never sat down and watched it and took it in. I really only saw it for the first time a couple years ago, and I've only seen it a handful of times since. And it's not my favorite horror movie ever. It's a good one. It's definitely maybe a once-a-year watch, maybe every 2 years. This was parodied in Scary Movie and
Scary Movie 2.
So there's so many movies where I've been around these references forever, and I finally watch. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So it's
Matt said he didn't put the connection together when Ace goes up and he's like,
I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear.
right.
Until I told him today. I'm like, I always just, when she says that, I just always think of Ace.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Again, because I didn't really watch.
Or there's a scene I always think of, like in the couch downstairs, where the brother Robbie's talking to the older lady with the beautiful glasses, and she's, I always think of Chris from Family Guy talking to that lady. So
Sure, Stewie can find his way out.
We just gotta be patient, Lois. Like waiting on the results of a blood test.
this movie is very famous. It's been parodied a lot, and it still really holds up. It's got an amazing score. It's shot beautiful. And speaking of being shot beautiful, that's one thing we're here to talk to you guys about today, is this brand new 4K. So WB has just put out this brand new 4K that you see right here. It actually, Matt has the slipcover version. I pre-ordered the steelbook version. I don't actually have it yet, so I can't show it off. So right now all we have is this version, which I really do like that slipcover.
Yeah, I do too, yeah.
It's actually very nice. And
that's one thing. I've actually been kind of avoiding steelbooks lately.
Yeah?
I like everything on the back,
I know, you do lose that. I mean, sometimes lately with Lionsgate we've been getting better steelbooks where that's not lost, but yeah, I was actually on the fence with this one if I was going to get the steelbook or if I was going to get the slipcover, but I figured since you got that, worst case, I could return it and get a slipcover.
Right, yeah, I like to see the runtime. I like to see, it doesn't have Dolby Vision, or like what's the audio track, maybe the synopsis. I like it. I'm kind of steering away from steelbooks lately. But anyway, that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no. It's nice slipcover. Either way you go, I'm sure it's a good option, slipcover, steelbook. But anyway, as far as visuals go, this has nothing to do with Dolby on it. There is no Dolby Vision. There's no Dolby Atmos. The audio is DTS HD 5.1. It's got HDR10 on it.
Well, so this says DTS HD Master Audio and Dolby Audio. Now, in the menu system, when you go to select your audio, there's remastered and original theatrical. It says nothing about DTS, it says nothing. So we're not even certain what the primary remastered one is. Again, it doesn't give you a clear audio track, so I'm not entirely sure what the definitive remastered one was. I'm assuming it's going to be a DTS master audio, because when Dolby Audio is put on there, that's just a bare bones, that's probably the mono track. Yeah. And there is a ton of different languages on here to select from.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just assuming that because also Blu-ray.com says that this is a DTS 5.1, so we'll just take that as that's the new remaster track, but it does have the original theatrical, like Matt said.
And I thought the audio track was a bit on the weak side. I mean, we definitely heard some shit coming through the rear speakers. It wasn't a bad mix, but it's just... so Sonos has a speech enhancement option, so we had to actually turn that on because we found the dialogue to be a little low normally. So once we turned that on, we had no problem. It actually almost gets to a point where it's ear-piercing, but maybe that was just little girls screaming, and, so keep that in mind. But there's just something about the audio track that I didn't love.
No, it didn't blow me away. There was a lot of ways that this could have been an amazing audio track, because one thing I always love when you get a really good Dolby Atmos track, or just a really good track in general, is when there's thunder and lightning and rain. Mm-hmm. And this movie features a lot of thunder, lightning, and rain, and it really didn't make good use of that on the audio track, in my opinion. And you said, it was using the rears, but it felt like it didn't use the rears enough.
Not enough. With the subwoofer pumped a couple times here and there, but it wasn't reference quality audio. So
no, the audio definitely didn't blow me away either. But like Matt said, it's not like it's the worst audio.
It didn't sound terrible at all by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, it wasn't reference quality. No,
exactly. But the visuals, on the other hand, I was a little concerned because it doesn't have Dolby Vision. So I was thinking, okay, it's not going to be the greatest of visual upgrades. But it really was. And especially a big upgrade because the last Blu-ray release we had for this was 2010, which I still have. So that's a 12-year-old Blu-ray. Even though they are promoting it on this Blu-ray as a brand new restoration, this new 4K is worlds better than that as far as visuals go.
Yes, very clear. I didn't notice a ton of film grain.
No, it was very white. But and actually, as far as like I was saying, how it's very clear, the resolution is very clear. But it was super sharp when you say like, which is a good thing. But it almost felt again like this has been kind of just a minor complaint I've just had lately in general, is where it just everything looks like almost like clear, like almost too real.
Well, that's
like,
the name of the game at 4K.
Yeah,
that's the problem. There's a thin line where it's either perfect or too perfect. You know, if you guys are familiar with Gemini Man, it's really I guess the frame rate did it with that one, but that one literally looks real.
Yeah, it literally looks like
it looks more than real. It looks fake. You know, it's weird.
Yeah, it's something you have to see once with your own eyes to really understand like what frame rate really can do to a picture, because that'll just blow you away. Like this one kind of blew me away in scenes where I was like, certain scenes like when the kids are getting sucked back into the closet and had that like almost like big giant like vagina kind of looking thing.
Oh yeah.
And like they're almost
at the end.
Yeah, and like the orange glowing light like coming onto the kids, it was gorgeous. Or even like when the one guy is ripping his face off, and like the way the light's hitting him, that looked beautiful, like perfect lighting. And I was like, and the 4K really enhanced that. Like you wouldn't get that; it would look kind of flat and plain and drowned out in a regular Blu Ray, DVD, or VHS, whatever you used before.
No, yeah, it looked really good. Actually, there was one specific scene I noticed when I think it was earlier in the movie, the first time that
Carol Ann.
Yeah, she's still outside the TV or whatever it was. So when the closet opens for the first time and it sucks all the toys in, you can actually see a little, like, they must have used fishing line or some like clear little wire and to pull the wagon. And once it knocked over, you can kind of see it kind of dropped. And you wouldn't see that on VHS or DVD or Blu-ray. But 4K cleared it up so much you actually saw the little dummy line they used to pull the wagon for that effect, I guess.
Yeah, they never imagined 4K coming around to actually show the filmmaking ways. Because another thing that I noticed is I always thought the walls, and I don't have the greatest of eyes, but I always thought the walls were just painted like a green. But really they have like this carpet wall in that you might see like a doctor's office or like a dentist or something like that. So yeah, the 4K really does clean it up and make it look very, very, very good. Almost very visually stimulating, almost too good to a point.
I still think it looked great. You know, all the pastel colors, because I don't know what month they were in, but they're in California, so they got shorts on, and she was wearing like this colorful red shirt, and the house is very colorful. So it's, you know, I thought the HDR did its job. It looked pretty good. The 4K scan, again, it made everything look fantastic, but maybe too good for its own good. I don't know. I thought it looked pretty good.
No, this for me will become the definitive edition that I watch.
For sure.
Definitely. Like, we're just kind of nitpicking just to point out any kind of flaw that you might find. Like, I know everyone has a certain thing that they're looking for. And for us, like, this was a beautiful visual upgrade. Mm-hmm. It really was. I was stunned in certain parts. You know, there's like, if we're complaining that it might look too real, that should tell you they did a great job on this 4K scan itself. Mm-hmm. Now, we both have complaints about the audio, but one thing that the extras really aren't much on here.
No.
And one extra, the big one that they're talking about is a 2-part documentary, I believe that's on here, that talks about real Poltergeist. That's the same thing you can get on the 2010 Blu-ray. So the only thing, I don't think there's any kind of new extras on here. I'm not 100% sure if that making of Poltergeist is on anything else, but for everything else, it's pretty bare bones. There's no audio commentary tracks. So if you're coming into this and hoping for new extras, if you're a huge fan of Poltergeist like I am, you're not really going to get much, and that's a little bit unfortunate. But
have you watched that documentary on here? They Are Here, the Real World Poltergeist documentary in 2 parts: Science of the Spirits and Communing with the Dead.
I have not watched that yet.
You haven't watched
No, and I've had the option since 2010 to watch that.
I was curious how long it was.
No, I'm not too sure, but I am going to check that out. I'm going to check them all out because, like, you know, same thing like when any of my favorite movies, I try and get as much in as I possibly can. I love to consume as much extras. Like, I would have been cool if they dived into, if a lot of people are fans of Poltergeist, you can watch the Cursed Film documentary on, it's a small 30-minute documentary about how this film, you know, they believe it was cursed. One of those ones because, unfortunately, the young girl who plays Carol Ann, she died very young while they were making Poltergeist 3. The older sister was murdered by her boyfriend in her driveway only a couple years after this movie. You know, there's plenty more instances where they say that this film was haunted. almost like the movie itself. Like there's the rumor that they use real skeletons in the pool. All that stuff they think plays a part in it. It would have been cool if they did if WB themselves actually dived into those rumors and addressed it.
What? Real skeletons?
Yeah.
How?
That's part of why they do that. I mean, well, when you think about it, when you die.
First of all, if you know how a body works, a real skeleton how does it connect?
Well, what do you mean? How does it connect? When you die, your skeleton.
Are you saying the decomposed bodies were real, or because a skeleton's pure bones, it's just gonna be a pile?
No, yeah, well. No, when you die and you get put into a casket and your body decomposes, your skeleton's still left. Like, your body's still together as a skeleton. It's just your skin and everything else is gone. You get some hair. You've never seen a skeleton before in anything?
No. Where have you seen a skeleton?
I've never seen a real skeleton, but I know that what happens to a skeleton... I'm sure if we go to a cemetery right now, you could dig up a skeleton in the casket.
I mean, I'm not sure what the science behind it. Maybe the bones disappear too eventually?
No, I don't think they do.
Right?
No. That's why I'm saying.
Right, but all the rest of the shit, that's movie, man. That's not a real thing. Eventually, at one point...
Well, I'm talking about the ones in the end of the pool. That's just a skeleton.
So you think they used real...
I don't know what they did. I'm just saying that's the rumor that I heard.
That's crazy.
I didn't say this. I'm just saying what I heard. I don't know if there's
Yes,
fact.
but that's insane for anybody to believe that they would use real...
They have. That's not the first movie to do that. That has happened before.
Real bodies.
Yeah, real skeletons. decomposed skeletons.
How?
Listen, if you want to... I'm saying this on camera right now. If when I die and you want to take my body and use it in a movie as it looks right now or as a skeleton, feel free. I don't care. Because my wife, she won't. I want to get stuffed. Anyway... I'm rambling on here. I'm just saying that they have definitely used real skeletons in films, and the rumor is that, and that's why they say they believe that this movie's haunted. Alright, I went off on a tangent here. So anyway, guys, look into the Poltergeist curse. It's a real thing. It's just, and they have a documentary series that Shudder released. I have the first season called Curse Films, and they address that even more, including them using real skeletons. So... Is there anything else you would like to say about this 4K?
Anyway, so, yes, it's a great 4K. I do not think you'll be disappointed if you pick it up. If you're a huge fan of Poltergeist, pick it up, support 4K, and enjoy a great 4K disc.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I believe it's $25 right now. It's a recommendation from both of us. Mm-hmm. Definitely check it out. There's really no reason to not upgrade. Like I said, the Blu-rays are pretty old, so there's really no reason. I can't say if you have an edition that already exists. I mean, if you're happy with your Blu-ray and you're not a big fan of Poltergeist, yeah, no reason to upgrade. I'm pretty sure it's on HBO Max. It's a WB property. Just stream it there.
How's the Blu-ray look?
Blu-ray does look good, but like I said, this is a big upgrade for the 4K.
Because I didn't have it on Blu-ray. This is my first time owning it.
And just one last note, avoid the remake from 2014, I believe. Matt owns it.
Never saw that one either. Bought it thinking it was this movie.
Yep. So that should tell you all you need to know about Poltergeist. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us on another episode of Let's Talk. If you like this video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And tell all your friends.